Ren from Hallowed Be Thy Game, and today I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks for NieR Replicant version 1.22. Let's check it out. So for my first tip, I want to let you know that early in the game, after you obtain Grimoire Vice, there's going to be a quest that unlocks in the main city to have you go and kill a boar. Do this quest as soon as possible. The boar is kind of tough to kill, but just play it safe, dodge, and make sure to use your magic, and you'll be just fine. This unlocks the ability to be able to ride a mount as you travel amongst the areas. There is a lot of traveling back and forth in this game, especially if you're going to want to do all the side quests and maybe go for a plat. So definitely hop on this tip as fast as possible. And not only that, you'll have this fun like dash thing you can do to just absolutely mow down enemies as you travel from place to place. Also, there's another quest I want to recommend you do as soon as possible, and that is from the florist in the main village. Completing this side quest is going to give you the option to be able to start gardening by your house in the game that your sister lives at. Do this as fast as possible because you're going to need a lot of money and you're going to need it early on, and that's if you want to make things a lot easier for you. There is a weapon you can buy from the vendor in the very start of the game that will last you for essentially half the game, and it's called the Beast Bane, and it's almost 17,000 gold, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not that bad. If you unlock gardening, I just suggest planting a lot of wheat, make sure you water it. So as long as you're not just playing this game from start to finish with very little to no breaks, every 48 hours of real life time that passes by, your wheat is going to be able to grow to harvest. Harvest that and you can sell it for 50,000 gold. This is important because you're going to want to save up a lot of money, and I think if you want to buy every weapon in the game, you're going to need around 215 or 250,000 gold. I can't remember the exact number, but that is necessary if you're going to want to get the true ending of the game, which you have to collect every weapon in the game. It's not as nasty of a feat as it sounds. I just gardened as I went through the game, and every time I was going to be done for the night, I would go and water the garden or go and harvest the wheat and sell it, and yeah, it's a nice tidy profit. Now, if you're looking for some quick gains right off the bat, once you unlock fishing, just go and fish and, catch some sardines, catch some sharks, and sell those, and you're going to make a nice tidy profit. And if you want, there's plenty of guides online of how to farm gold with fishing, but I highly suggest fishing and gardening. They're going to just set you up fine. And I'm only about part way through my B playthrough of this game. I already have all the weapons I'm going to need. Now, as you're traveling around and doing side quests, I highly recommend going into your options and turning off auto sprinting. And by doing this, it'll make it to where every time you dodge, you'll go immediately into a sprint. The only time this isn't advisable is when you're doing a few side quests that have you deliver something from point A to B and you can't dodge and you can't get hit, or else it'll destroy the package. In this case, leaving on auto sprint will make it to where after you walk for a while, you'll eventually break out into a sprint without having to dodge and destroy the package. Outside of that, turn this off immediately. And speaking of side quests, NieR Replicant is very trolly at times, especially with its side quest design. I love this game, but I will fully admit it is an old form of JRPG when it comes to side quests, which means not all side quests are created equal. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw up my personal recommendations of side quests to do, whether they be for mandatory weapons to get secret endings, or perhaps unlock gameplay features, or even just have an emotionally charged story that I think is worth experiencing. Outside of that though, obviously, side quests in this game are beautiful, however some of them can just outright troll you, and to the average gamer, I do think that it would probably burn you out on this game pretty quick. However, my advice on this, take it or leave it, but here's my recommendations. Also, in regards to quests and side quests, they carry over into New Game Plus. So if you essentially go and complete every side quest you come across in your first playthrough of the game, because this is a NieR game and you're heavily incentivized to beat it multiple times to unlock further story and context to the game, your side quest completions carry over. And if you have a quest that you didn't complete in your first time through, then you can re-accept it And a lot of times, if you still have an item in your inventory, you'll still be able to work towards that. Also, there is one side quest that you can unlock from the Forest of Myth. It's called the Magical Stones. Anyways, this unlocks a great grinding area. I would highly suggest doing the DLC Nightmares, especially since you need to do it for the weapons if you want the true ending anyways, and that all unlocks in Route B. But again, that Magical Stones quest is a great way to reliably farm XP in the first route. Now, I want to share some pretty quality tips that I found extremely useful when I was doing combat. Now, we all know that R1 and L1 are defaulted to your spells in the game. However, if you hold in spells to charge, let's say Dark Lance or Dark Whirlwind, then you'll start to notice that time begins to slow down as you move around. Well, if you stand completely still, not only will you be able to charge it, it almost stops time. This is perfect for being able to bait parry opportunities. And if you're going to go up to harder difficulties or even do some of the DLC fights, you're really going to be heavily incentivized to learn how to parry. This makes it extremely easy to just bait that perfect parry window. And honestly, some foes that were just impossible to take on before become extreme pushovers once you learn this trick. Very useful. I personally gravitated towards using Dark Lance and Dark Whirlwind. However, there's a lot of viability when it comes to the spells in this game, so I don't really think there's a right or wrong answer. But for a normal playthrough, those have just worked perfectly for me. Now, I did mention how the Beastbane weapon is very useful in your first run of the game, up to halfway point. However, later in the game, you'll unlock the ability to use more than just one-handed weapons. You'll get two-handed swords or two-handed weapons and spears. I think the Phoenix Spear from Facade is undoubtedly the best weapon in the game. So I poured all of my resource farming into upgrading it to level 4. I've not regretted my decision there at all. It does a crap ton of magic damage, and if you roll and do a light attack, you'll be able to travel faster in it than just sprinting. So highly recommended. But on top of that, if you hold in the light or heavy attack with any weapon, you'll start to do this kind of combo chain, and it does a lot of damage. It can break armor on enemies, and it is just devastating. And it's a really simple combo to use. Just hold in light attack, you'll perform a combo, hold in heavy attack, you'll perform a combo. Very useful. So again, highly recommend just trying out, find out what weapon style you like, and don't be afraid to just hard commit to that. Now, if you're looking to plat this game, you better buckle up for some insane material farming. This game does not pull any punches in having you go out and hunt items down. I personally just had the patience to upgrade the Phoenix Spear to max. There's a ton of resources online on where to find different upgrade materials, because in this game, it's not like you're just going to naturally stumble upon all the materials you need to upgrade weapons as you go. You're going to have to go out and hunt some of these down, so definitely don't be afraid to look up the wikis. Now, one mechanic that you might notice or have noticed as you start to play is word buffs that you can attach to your weapons, your magic abilities, and also your defensive abilities. These are extremely beneficial and game changers to the balance and progression of the game. As you kill bigger foes, you're going to get bigger word buffs that you can attach to them. If you feel a little overwhelmed by this, don't worry. Just go into the word edit section, go to your spells, go to your weapons that you're using, your block and dodge abilities, and just go all the way over to the right and choose use recommended buffs. Now, this isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. However, for a normal playthrough, I don't think you're going to have any trouble in just using this and forgetting it. But if you are going out for a plat or you're going out to upgrade a certain weapon, definitely go into the word buff listing and find the buffs that give like increased item drop rate, or if you're farming XP, choose the XP increase. You know, pretty self-explanatory stuff. But if you aren't worried about farming or anything like that, just use the recommended word buffs and you'll be golden. And with that, that covers all the tips and tricks that I wish I had known when I started NieR Replicant. This is by no means an exhaustive list, so for you vets out there, please let everyone know what you wish you had known down in the comments. I really look forward to reading them. Like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I will see you all next time.